Massive game at Villa Park this week as Aston Villa take on Liverpool. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a match preview to Aston Villa against Liverpool, and Aston Villa's side looking to leapfrog Fulham into 8th place and be level on points with Newcastle, with of course everybody else having a game in hand over them after this game, whilst Liverpool are looking to stretch their lead at the top of the table to 10 points, whilst everybody else below them will of course have a game in hand. But it's a massive opportunity for both of these sides to get points on the board. It's an opportunity for Aston Villa to maybe put a bit of a dent in Liverpool's title challenge, but it's also an opportunity for Liverpool to, of course, put a dent in Aston Villa's challenge for Europe, as well as obviously strengthen their own case for Premier League glory. We're going to be talking about the game, we're going to be previewing it, and obviously I'm going to be giving my prediction on how I think the outcome of this game will go. But before we get into all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on this extremely exciting encounter between these two sides in this one. Let me know what your thoughts are, comments are, and of course, above all, your predictions. I want to know what your predictions are for Wednesday night's game. Sound good? Fantastic. Right, let's get on with the video then, shall we? Let's get on with previewing a massive game between Villa and Liverpool at Villa Park for our Wednesday evening viewing. This is going to be a massive game. Massive, massive, massive game. And of course, this game is thrown about because Liverpool have made it into the Carabao Cup final. This is the game that was meant to be taking place on that weekend. The Premier League have decided to bring it forward, which doesn't really help either side. But I guess because obviously Liverpool are in Europe or whatever, it means that they've decided to kind of bring this game as forward as possible. It's not really ideal for either club. Liverpool have obviously got a tough run of fixtures coming up, including Manchester City straight after this one. Newcastle are on the horizon as well. I think Southampton are in the mix as well before obviously playing that cup final. So it's obviously going to be a big run of games for them. For Aston Villa, I think this is like their second game of 5 in a run of 14 days or something along those lines. So it's not really ideal for either side to be playing this game this early, but this is the reality of the situation. And in fact, Aston Villa actually did try to get this game changed, and they wanted the date of this game to be rescheduled. Don't really remember them wanting a rescheduling for when Liverpool were forced to play 2 games on 2 different continents for the Carabao Cup and the Club World Cup, in which obviously Aston Villa were Liverpool's opponents and they had to face pretty much an under-16 squad on that day. But yeah, it's funny how things eventually work themselves out, isn't it? Anyway, I'm not being sorry or bitter about it. I'm just pointing out that simple fact. Anyway, this is going to be a very exciting game in my opinion. You've got Unai Emery taking on Arne Slot. You've got Ollie Watkins against Mo Salah. You've got Morgan Rogers against the likes of like Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister. It's going to be an exciting game because we know Aston Villa on their day can be extremely difficult to beat. We know that they can be exciting to watch at times. We know that obviously they can be a thorn in the side of a lot of big clubs. Arsenal found that out a couple of times this season. They are going to be a very difficult side to beat. And Liverpool need to drastically improve from the game that they played against Everton a week ago and the game at the weekend in which they barely managed to scrape past Wolverhampton Wanderers. Liverpool need to improve drastically. Now, this is going to be difficult because, as we know, Unai Emery likes his side to be a bit disciplined, a bit structured, and Liverpool have been finding it difficult to sort of break teams down or at least take their chances when they come to it. And Liverpool as well haven't exactly been the most watertight defensively. At the beginning of the season, Liverpool's defence was immaculate. Recently, their defence has been pretty poor. They've been leaking a fair few chances. They haven't really been able to get control of games as much as they would like. And not only that as well, but when they do leak goals, they leak very, very, very stupid ones. Ones that could easily be preventable. Ones that could easily have been put a stop to moments later. Liverpool need to cut that out, because this has banana skin written all over it. This has slip up written all over it. And if we are to, because obviously we're playing before Arsenal do, that is going to be a massive incentive to the Gunners going forward. A Gunners side that, okay, may not be the most convincing themselves, but they are taking, and their fans are taking every ounce of hope that they can get from Liverpool games and trying to move the team forward with that. We saw last week when Liverpool dropped points to Everton, despite Liverpool extending their lead to 7 points at the top of the table, and obviously playing that game in hand that they did have over them, Arsenal fans were still very much under the impression that they can catch Liverpool, despite Liverpool extending their lead over them. We saw on Sunday, despite the fact that Liverpool won that game against Wolves, again, Arsenal fans were out in numbers saying they've seen enough to say that cracks are starting to show. Liverpool will crumble. Liverpool will fall away. Again, there may be an element of truth, but there may be a lot of hope, copium, bit of delusion mixed in there as well. We'll obviously have to wait and see. But this is a massive game for Liverpool, and it's a massive run of fixtures as well. As I previously mentioned, we've got a big, big run coming up. We've got Villa, we've got City, and we've got Newcastle, all in the space of about a week or two. This game, we obviously can't take our eye off this game. The City game, it's at the Etihad. That's going to be tough in itself. Even despite City's recent form and everything, that's still going to be tough, especially with us having played played this game as well. I know that obviously City are playing in the Champions League at the same time, so the kind of extra game doesn't necessarily work out in this case. So that's going to be a tough game regardless. But if we can go there and win, we can make a real statement. If we can go to Newcastle and win, if we can play against Newcastle and win, because it is going to be at home, it's going to be at Anfield, that's going to be a big statement as well. And to be fair, I'm slight getting ahead of myself, but I genuinely do think we can beat Newcastle, because I think Newcastle's mind is probably going to be on the Carabao Cup that we play them in a few weeks' time over this one. So I'm backing us to win that one, but we can't take our eyes off of this game. This game is huge. Unai Emery's side, going to be tough to beat. Going to be tough to break down. Going to be tough to stop going forward. They've got some really good players in their ranks. And we need to be on it. We need to keep the ball better than what we did against Wolves. We need to be completely on it in terms of the final third in our decision making. Be decisive. Killer instincts in front of goal. And, like I say, defensively, be watertight. I don't want another 45 to 90 minutes of what I saw in the Wolverhampton Wanderers game, where it was uncomfortable, it was nervy, it was awkward, and it was so frustrating to see a Liverpool team that looked like a bunch of strangers out there that could barely pass it between themselves for longer than 3 or 4 passes, and of course didn't even record a single shot on target in the second half of that game against a relegation battling Wolves. We got the job done, but it wasn't convincing. We need to improve upon our performances, and hopefully that starts in this game, because Aston Villa will give us chances. There's no doubt about it. They will give us chances, but it's about whether we take them or not, and it's about whether we can keep them quiet at the other end. We know all about Ollie Watkins. We know that Morgan Rogers has had a sparkling season so far. He's been a brilliant breakthrough for Villa and for the Premier League so far this season. And, you know, I hope it continues. Not on Wednesday, of course, but I hope it does continue, because he does seem like a quality talent. We obviously know that they brought in Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford in the January transfer window. It's just perfectly set up, isn't it, for Marcus Rashford, the guy from Manchester, the Manchester United, born and bred, and obviously risen through the academy and the ranks at United, to of course strike a dagger to the heart of Liverpool on Wednesday. It's somewhat written in the stars. But I hope that we can flip the script and not let that happen. We know that in midfield they've got a lot of warriors in there, a lot of industrial work in that engine room. We know they are strong in that department, and we know that defensively they can be pretty solid too. They've got some battlers in there. They've got some really big physical presences in their defensive ranks, and we know that they have one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Emi Martinez. So this is going to be an extremely difficult game for Liverpool to navigate through. But at the same time, I do think it could be difficult for Aston Villa as well. They will, of course, have to break through Liverpool's own defence. A defence that obviously is fronted by the defensive midfielders of Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister doing the industrial side of the work as well. Dominic Szoboszlai, obviously, with his incredible work rate. Curtis Jones, I think, will be back for this game, having served his one-match suspension. I don't know whether it will be a one-match suspension, though. Now I've said it, but I think he is back. I think people have said that he is back for this game. I'm not 100% sure whether that is the case or not. But of course, he adds an option into that midfield as well. And then, of course, Trent, right back, Van Dijk and Konate at the heart of the defence, Alisson in goal. The least said about the left-back situation, the better. I think Tsimikas will start this game, but I wouldn't also be surprised if it was Robertson, because, you know, they're both as bad and at the same time as good as each other right now. So, yeah, that's the situation at left-back. And then, of course, it's all about the front three. What front three are we going for in this game? It's going to be a very interesting blend, whichever one we go for. The hope is that Cody Gakpo is back for this game, but I don't know if he will be. Luis Diaz obviously had a decent 45 minutes against Wolves at the weekend, so I imagine he will start, as much as I want to see Federico Chiesa more. I think it will be Luis Diaz that starts on the left. Salah's obviously cemented into that position on the right. And then it's all about who's going to be up front. Do we go again with Jota? Do we maybe move Diaz into the centre and go with a different left winger? That's going to be an interesting scenario. But for me, I know he didn't have he basically had an anonymous cameo on Sunday. But for me, he's got to start Núñez. And I never thought I'd be saying that again, because I don't think there is a future for Núñez at Liverpool. But whilst the transfer window is shut, he is obviously going to be a part of this Liverpool squad going forward. Darwin Núñez should start on Wednesday night. His pace, power, the way that obviously he's willing to run for every loose end, every dead ball and everything, and maybe even pull apart the defence of Aston Villa, could be a worthwhile key for us to have going forward. So, fingers crossed, Liverpool are decisive in the final third. Fingers crossed we take our chances when they fall, and fingers crossed Arne Slot makes the right decision, because although I do like Diogo Jota, there is a case for Jota being more of an impact sub than being a starter. As much as I like what Darwin Núñez brings to the table in terms of other aspects, the one key aspect that I would hope from my club record signing is that, of course, he shows the composure and concentration and killer instinct in front of goal that he clearly lacks. So it's got to be one or the other, and I'd rather have Núñez run for 60, 70 minutes, run that defence ragged, and then for Jota to use his intelligence and his good movement to maybe get a goal or two in the remaining half an hour to 20 minutes of the game, however long he is given to come on. I think that could work. I really do think that could work. In terms of the scoreline, look, I'm obviously hoping and praying that Liverpool will win, go 10 points clear at the top of the table, put more pressure, obviously, on Arsenal to, of course, replicate the result that I'm hoping Liverpool will deliver on Wednesday night. And like I say, I'm not completely blind or oblivious to, obviously, Aston Villa getting something from this game. I'm obviously anticipating a very difficult game. I'm hoping Liverpool will win. I'm hoping what I said about Marcus Rashford will not come to fruition. I'm hoping Ollie Watkins won't turn into prime R9 on the day. I'm hoping there isn't going to be another 7-2 victory like there was during the COVID season. I'm hoping that Aston Villa's poor record against Liverpool, in which they've only won one of their last 14 games against the Reds, will obviously continue. I'm hoping that Liverpool will get the job done. Really hoping that Liverpool get the job done. Praying, hoping. Fingers crossed we get a better performance as well from the Reds on this occasion, which is why I'm going for a 2-1 victory in favour of Liverpool. Fingers crossed that will be the case. But as we know, this is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Unai Emery's side are going to find it very difficult, but at the same time, we're also going to find it very difficult. It should make for a very exciting and intriguing game at Villa Park for our Wednesday night viewing. But of course, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Aston Villa against Liverpool on Wednesday night? What do you think the score will be on the day? Do you see an upset happening with Aston Villa maybe beating Liverpool and maybe delivering them their second defeat of the season? Or do you think Liverpool will stretch their lead at the top of the table to 10 points over Arsenal? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great interest in reading down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that section, people, at your will. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your either continued or brand new support to the channel. It is very much appreciated by myself. So thank you all so much for that. You guys are awesome. Will always be appreciated and never taken for granted. Thank you all so much for that. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.